Hello and welcome to the Binge Thinker for another episode. My name is Jamil Raymond. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here as always. Doing a slightly different video version if you are on the YouTubes this week. Just faffing around with tech in the office, trying to find more efficient ways to record content. Now that I am preparing to get the fuck out of here, I have officially put in my notice for leaving. I leave in 27 days to go to Thailand, and I'll be honest, I am freaking the fuck out. I will admit it, folks, this week has not been great. It hasn't been great for my mental health at all. Just being sick, not getting consistent exercise in, not eating properly, the anxiety of running a business, and not having the energy to do everything I feel like I need to do. Yeah, man, like definitely Thursday, Friday last week, mental health took a bit of a dip. Anxiety took over, especially on the Friday as I had to put my notice in to relinquish my house, and just realize like how much fucking work I have to do between now and in the next 27 days, the next 4 weeks, less than 4 weeks, to basically take my life and rip out the roots and still manage a business and somehow make money in that process of, yeah, it's a lot, man. It's a fucking lot. And yeah, it just feels like I've got so much going on. I'm still burning, not quite out of the woods yet, although I am making some progress on sales and the coaching stuff. A lot of people will give me answers in the next week or two about coaching. If I get my coaching gigs, then I'm safe, right? I am in the clear, which is fantastic. And then I can just fucking breathe for a second and just live life and try to appreciate as much of the present moment that I can, enjoying this time that I have left in Melbourne, because it is going to be some time until I live here, if ever again, who knows, but it's time to go for good. So yeah, I mean, that's also scary, just making this big jump. In this current trajectory, I have probably 2 months left of cash in Thailand. So, I got to believe that I'm going to fucking hustle and get some shit together for the course and, just step on the gas a little bit with building the course in the community and finding coaching clients. I'm not just going to sit here and absolutely fucking do nothing about it. But it doesn't mean that, an anxious mind, it's not rational, that's for fucking sure. Your mind gets taken away into thinking you're going to be destitute in the fucking street. And, you're going to starve to death. But really, like, the answer is just to get a fucking job, right? It's just to suck it up again, get a job. You're not going to quit selling. I'm not going to quit the course or the community. I've gone so far in it. The answer just might be to get a job. And that's fine. But, I've already tasted freedom. I've already tasted getting out of the machine. Yeah, I don't want to go back. It does feel like a bit of a failure. But who knows, man? I could just be talking out of my ass here, and in a couple of weeks I could be absolutely laughing, which I, suspect might happen, but doesn't mean it will. And yeah, I think there's just a tremendous lesson in patience right now that I'm getting, because again, everything's working. It's just a matter of time. Getting enough time, getting in front of enough people to generate enough revenue to sell the course. That's it. Or, again, I get one coaching client and I've already got some verbals. It's just, part of me feels like a fucking idiot for complaining, but then part of me is just complaining and just panicking. We're not complaining, just panicking, right? So it's just where it is. And then also last week I had to face, again, some pretty heavy feelings. It's the 3-year anniversary of being made redundant from Telstra. Put some content out talking about it. Pardon me. I just put some content out. Something that I've just been sitting on about the theories around Telstra and its shifting sands. It's in the way that it's shifting its business, and just realizing the truth about it and that it wasn't meant for me, which is cool. And then some really emotional content about actually the stuff that I did on this pod a few weeks ago about going through my last day at Telstra and how brutal that was. And yeah, man, like, yeah, it was a lot of emotions to face. At the time, when I put that first Telstra video out, one of them on LinkedIn about their changing strategies, I was so anxious I was going to get in trouble. I have no idea how or why. And it wasn't even the best performing piece of content that I had that week, but just the anxiety of putting myself out there, putting something out there that I was sitting on and, could be wrong about. There's just all this fear of judgments, man. Like, the ego will get you. And realistically, it just did okay as a piece of content. And, I got a lot of good feedback about being honest and being real about what I knew and what I understood. So, again, like, just all these fears, all these irrationalities have just taken their toll on me and what I think and feel about myself. And, yeah, that's life, mate. That's the ups and downs, right? It is the ups and downs. But over the weekend, got to catch up with a good friend of mine, one of my best friends, Daniel. He's visiting from London. So we caught up, had a drink Saturday night, which is the first time I barely go out. I'm a bit of a recluse. So it was just so good to talk to him and just be honest about how much, just what I was feeling. He's someone that I can trust, and I love him dearly. So yeah, just to sort of vent that out and get some assurance and, just not keep my struggle to myself. Even though I do tell you guys here, of course, but yeah, there's a difference between this, just confiding in someone, like that Friday night, I was having basically anxiety waves, close to an attack come through me. And, there's just this, I was like, I should just call someone and talk to them about it, but I just didn't. I just sort of toughed it out myself, and I don't know if it's just a mixture of shame and just going, yeah, man, like, tough this shit out. This is your challenge. This is your thing. This is your burden to bear. But I think mostly the reason why I didn't do it is because I just felt ashamed. Felt really ashamed for some reason about just going through it and stressing. Yeah, because I just have to remember, like, yeah, if this all falls over, I just go get a job, right? It's not that big a deal. But it just feels like such a big deal because I've invested so much of my life into it for the last 2 years, And I still believe there's more to be done here. I still believe there is much more to be done here. And I should just, no matter what it takes, just build it. Build it, build it, build it, build it. So yeah, that's been me for the last week. Just the ups and downs of life. And just, yeah, it is just part of the game. It is all part of the game. I do believe something will come through in the next couple of weeks. Something's going to come through. I cannot let $35,000 plus of coaching pipeline disappear. It just does not make any sense. I just have to be patient. And so I shall. I shall indeed. Man, on a lighter note, well, I don't know if this is a lighter note, but holy fuck, I watched some of the Trump-Biden debate on the weekend, and holy fuck, Biden's cooked, man. Like, the Democrats are fucked. Biden is cooked, and the Democrats, America's fucked. Let's just say it like that. America is fucked. The transition of power from the US to China is happening now economically. I don't see either of the two parties pulling themselves out of the huge economic rut that they're in. It is the end of the empire. Pardon me. But the fact that, if you haven't seen it, I'm sure everyone's seen the fucking highlights of Biden losing his brain But the bloke is 82 years old. No one. Biden looks like he's about to drive through a cafe more than he's more suitable to lead a fucking country. And the fact that he's literally a Weekends at Bernie's puppet that's being held up by, the Democrats, the real party, the real party plays behind the scenes in the Democrats. All of the actual party itself is just sort of propping this corpse up in the hopes that they maintain power. It really kills democracy, right? The Democrats are supposed to be the beacon of, of freedom, of idealism, of what, the most liberal, best parts of America are supposed to be the Democrats. They're the party for freedom, for justice, for liberty, for equality, blah, blah, blah. But man, like they're fucked. They've completely disillusioned America. It's like you expect the Republicans and you expect conservatives to say no and be the negative force and be the slowing down, right? When you're a well-intentioned liberal person, you expect there to be a conservative party. But the Liberal Party in the US is just as bad. They're just as bad. And in fact, they are the war machine. They are, right now, they are the military industrial complex. Just pure, plain and simple, under the guise of liberalism and ideals. But they are the imperialists right now with Ukraine and with Israel and all that sort of stuff. Like, you can just see the war machine in pure, blatant terms. You can see the political interests taking over. And it obviously it's you don't expect it in the Democrats. You don't expect them to be for sale like they are, but they are under the fucking spell of Lockheed Martin and Boeing and all of these other military industrial complex players. And yeah, it's completely eaten away. It's completely eroded the concept of freedom, of justice, of liberty, of what America was supposed to be. And it's a fucking tragedy. It's a real tragedy that, this political extremism and the corruption of power has come through in what is supposed to be the moral leader of the free world. And they're basically just propped up this corpse to be like, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Go Ukraine. We'll bring back abortion and we'll give you all your rights. Like, yeah, it just there's how does Trump look like the rational one? I'm telling you now what, guys. I said this before, the pendulum is swinging. It is swung. White boys are back up in town. White boys are up again, right? UFC is huge. Donald Trump is probably now better placed on the polls than Biden because Biden is a vegetable. Country music is back. People are saying the F-bomb again, right? No one cares about trans rights or no one gives a fuck about pronouns anymore. No one gives a fuck about that liberal shit when you're in survival mode. All of those frivolous problems go away when you have a family to feed, when your mortgage is creeping up, when you feel insecure and you are giving up your holidays and all of the nice little treats you had. That all of the liberalism and all of the nice to haves, when your heart is full and you can think about these fluffier things, all that shit's gone now because people are starving. People have got bills to pay and are struggling. Even people that are making decent money are struggling, right? All of that liberal shit goes away when you've got real shit to do, right? And it's just going to happen. Like, I can't see the Democrats, winning. I think if PC's definitely done with for now, so we're going to swing back into some conservative times. And the Republicans are probably going to win because all of the centrals, all of the people that have common sense are going, which of these two corpses do I want to be in charge? The complete vegetable or the not so complete vegetable? Do I want the celery? What would be if Trump is a carrot, what would Biden be? A turnip? Just pale and just withery. He's probably some sort of turnip, I think. It's the turnip versus the carrot. Or, a great clip came back up. I mean, God bless South Park. Another South Park clip came up. And they must have reposted it because of the debate. It's like, would you like this giant... Do you want to vote for a giant douche or a turd sandwich? And giant douche is winning because turd sandwich is literally a turd in the brain right now. It's pretty fucked. It's pretty fucked, man. Dark times. And this is it. Yeah, I mean, look, the Liberals had 8, 12, probably about 8 to 12 good years, right? The Obama time, and then, so Obama sort of came through, and then, the Biden years it became extra wokey. And there was and PC did exist during the Trump era, and that's why people sort of hated him even more, because he wasn't, the PC culture was more liberal, even though there was a more conservative government in place, right? But now, when times are tough and people have austerity measures in place, you're going to have tough times, tough people, tougher government. And it's going to be interesting to see what the next 4 to 8 years look like, because I don't really know if, can Trump fuck things so royally and in the next 4 years that any Democrat will be better than Trump? I don't know. But which Democrats are there that would be like, we'll put up with them to not have Trump in office? Nobody nobody knows what Kamala is, what the fuck she's about. Nobody gives a shit. They're not going to let that grumpy looking bitch run the country. Bernie's too old. And no one's going to vote for Hillary. And no one gives a fuck about the rest of the people. You're just going to be introduced to some dickhead. I hope RFK wins. That'd be fucking sweet. He would be a voice for reason. I really hope. I don't know if they'll make it happen. I'm not too sure. They're still blocking the bloke, even though he is the best choice by far. The entire political class is still pushing RFK out, even though he is the most rational and increasingly popular candidate. And it's he does represent a growing truth and a growing fatigue of this facade, of this post-liberal, neoliberal horseshit that tells us to consume and tells us that the government is competent and working in our favor, and totally not at the whim of corporates and lobbying dollars and are corrupted for a nice little tidy paycheck. That's not happening at all. Don't worry, folks. We're all caring about you. You and your genders. So, I don't know. Strange, dark times. Another thing I want to talk to you guys about. I did sort of allude to this last week about AI, right? There was this article that came out. It's actually quite a significant, was this an article, a lecture? But basically, there's a guy called Leopold Aschenbrenner. He's a German AI. It's an essay series. There we go. And Leopold Aschenbrenner was part of OpenAI for a while, and what he did at OpenAI, he was part of the super alignment team or something like that. Excuse me. And with this super alignment team, what does that mean? Basically, this super alignment is about making sure he was part of a team where the AI was regulated alongside best practices to do no evil, etc. Right? So making sure that was OpenAI's checks and balances to make sure that there wasn't any maliciousness or anything negative inside the AI. But then, old mate Sam Altman, founder of OpenAI, made some commitments around, yes, we will dedicate compute and resources to make sure that this AGI or this AI that we are building is safe, and he'll put resources in place to make sure the data is safe. As OpenAI and ChatGPT blew up, he basically stopped doing that and now basically got rid of that super alignment team, which was their checks and balances team, which is kind of scary to think that under the allurement or under the allure of money and power and dominating a market and creating a $1 billion company, whatever the fuck it is. He's just like, nah, we don't need guardrails. This will be fine. And got rid of most of that team. So this Leopold Aschenbrenner and another guy called Ilya Sarabiba, they left that team, and they've both they're both basically doing their own thing nowadays. Aschenbrenner has an investment firm, and he's basically put a bunch of essays out talking about AI's future and how much, what to look forward to in the future, and just how powerful the potential is for AGI and where AI is going and how smart it can be in the matter of a couple of years. It's pretty crazy stuff. So I've gone through, it's a lot. I haven't gone through all of it, but there are some pretty interesting and compelling points that he's made, right? In summary, I'm not going to give you the full thing, but basically, he's saying now that ChatGPT 4, which is the current version, or there's 4.0, but let's just call it the 4, has the equivalence intelligence of a smart high schooler. Okay? So, someone that did well, let's just say they're Asian. ChatGPT is as good as the Asian that you would copy off in school right now, right? Great at language, great with maths, can create tables, can code, right? It's pretty fucking good. And the scary thing in this current state, this little realization that I had like a week or two ago, is that if it's as smart as a smart high schooler, I don't think I'm smarter than a smart high schooler. I am. I am. But for example, on generalized tests, right? For example, on generalized tests, on common exams, ChatGPT 4 is currently outperforming anywhere from the top 50% to the top 1 to 3% in a bunch of fucking common exams, right? So for example, the SATs, which is like the general test for Americans, it is performing at 97th percentile. It is doing better than 97% of people on America's SATs already. Okay? I don't know what the fuck the GRE is. Let's give a quick Google of that. What's the GRE exam? What is that? It's another standardized test for graduate schools. Okay. And that is to get into master's degrees and doctorate's degrees in various universities. So this is a fucking fancy test, right? This GRE. And in the GRE, in the verbal test, it's outdoing 99% of applicants, right? 99% of applicants, of people that have passed their bachelor's degrees and are going on to master's or equivalent. Okay? It is outdoing all of those Asians. And on the quantitative, on the mathematical side, it's outperforming, it's in the 80th percentile. The 80th percentile is a distinction. I'm pretty sure it's a high distinction, actually, in most standardized testing. So it is already smarter than most people, okay? To take this a step further, the comparison that I came to, which is really fucking scary, is that when you're copywriting, when you're writing things on the internet, for example, my newsletter, the tip that I got for my newsletter is to write it at a 6th grade level to maximize readership. So to appeal, to be able to be read and be comprehended by people, so people don't go, huh? What the fuck do you mean? You have to read, you have to dumb yourself down, dumb your sentences, your prose down to a grade 6 level, right? You have to talk as dumb as a grade 6 person, a 12 or 13-year-old, to appeal to the most people in your demographic, and in your potential demographic, or in the mass market. So if artificial intelligence is already outdoing the smartest of us, and we have to maintain a standard that is dumb as fuck to try to appeal to the common person, where do you think the relative intelligence of society is versus AGI or AI is right now? It is more impactful and has more compute capabilities and more just general competence than most people, right? Is that it's already outperforming, the standard deviation of people on the planet, right? That's crazy. That's fucking wild. So what this guy's Leopold Aschenbrenner, his forecast is that by 2027, there could be an intelligence level based on the public estimates of where the current compute capability and how much it can scale to. By 2027, it could be its own AI researcher or engineer. So this stuff within 5 years, has the potential to be engineering and doing its own research and basically self-educating. That is fucking wild, man. The fact that is in less than 5 years, this AI could be like, I'm smart enough to just teach myself now. I don't really need human beings to optimize for. Thank you very much. See you later. That is some scary shit, right? And this is what and you imagine the level of nerd you have to be to do that, right? And it's not like, and the thing is that there's still plenty of things that AI can't do, but most of the high value knowledge worker jobs, right? Being an analyst, being an engineer, anything that's software related, anything that's digital related, right? Money's digitized now. Software coding engineering is digitalized now. All of the knowledge work, which has dominated the growth in career and earning potential, has all been knowledge work as opposed to getting on the tools and being a tradesperson, etc., etc. All of that shit's going to disappear in the next decade. All of it. Because software can do it faster, cheaper, more efficient. So all of those half-wits that are doing those jobs, myself included, where are they going to go? Right? And then all of the fundamental jobs, trying to get experience, trying to get a job, like all of the low-end jobs that are intelligent jobs, they're going to be snapped up by AI as well. So then there's just going to be this huge disconnect in the ability to get gainful employment versus people, being hired for those jobs, right? There's just going to be it's going to be extremely competitive. You're going to have to be the smartest. You're going to have to be the most commercially astute, the most mentally astute, because employers will have their pick again, because it's either you're the smartest of the crop or I'd get AI to do it and take a risk on that cost compared to what an FTE equivalent or a human equivalent is, right? That's going to be some scary shit over the next decade. Real scary shit that's going to come up. And the best answer is to just, like, if you go, oh, what do I do? Is to get back on the fucking tools and be a tradesperson. Because, look, robotics is coming too, don't get me wrong, and that's looking scary as shit. But robots aren't as smart. They're a lot more expensive to produce than AI because it's software. AI is just a bunch, just all software in compute and servers, as opposed to robotics, which is, takes a lot more to manufacture and then to teach and educate and train. There's a lot more to that because it's a lot more spatial awareness and other dimensions of information that need to be integrated for it to be effective. So yeah, you got to fucking get back in the physical world to generate some wealth over the next decade plus. Even though I'll tell you what, there was this video that I saw. Chinese robotics have fucking taken a quantum leap in capability now too. There was a video of a robo-dog in China that had a machine gun strapped to its back, and it could fucking, we have finally hit finally hit drones and robotics with firearms, right? We are in that reality now. So imagine, that's what I'm really scared of more than AI, is some fuckwit having the ability to mass produce robots with guns on their backs and just remote control them and then just set them on the streets. That's what I'm really afraid of, is that some fuckhead, because all you really need is the robot. You can manufacture that for relatively cheap, and it's not hard to get munitions off the black market. Just ask Israel. Just imagine someone builds an army of that shit, and an average human being, you can just step away from AI. You can just step away from your screen when it comes to AI, but you cannot step away from a fucking dog robot with a machine gun on its back that can probably outrun you, and nothing short of an EMP pulse, which you're not going to carry around or even know how to create, is going to stop that dog from getting out there and fucking you up and fucking up your entire family, right? That's the scary shit. That's the real fear that's coming, man. So, scary times. Scary, scary times. What else is in this? I guess the other thing that was really interesting is that, in these essays, right, there's a couple of key insights, is that, like, there's actually some, I guess, and all the other stuff is like, the other main points is like, there's the data war, so they're running out of data to train the machines on, which is pretty crazy. Again, the research around by 28, 27, before 2030, there will be, this technology will start to take care of itself. And they're also thinking that there's going to be, with AI, it's a huge growth potential, huge growth market, which is going to just elevate all of the organizations that adapt to it, all these companies that can adapt to AI and reducing their costs and improving their value. Because when you remove the human element and the human cost out of your business, you significantly increase the revenue potential, right? And then you also minimize the risk involved in having people in your company. For example, public liability. You don't have to fucking feed and water a server. Well, you do, but you don't have to have multiple locations. You can have a couple of data centers, and that's it. And then have your apps in data centers, and that's what you do instead of people. There's no public indemnity insurance, or a lot less of it for, just personal liability. If you give out information, if a human gives out information that is false, I mean, an AI could do it as well, but I suspect that cost of personal indemnity insurance for a corporation would be much cheaper for AI than it would be for humans, because AI doesn't get emotional and tell a customer to go fuck himself, right? It's just going to be like, I can tell that you are upset. I will end this conversation now. As opposed to a person that's like, you know what, mate, go fuck yourself, you fucking whatever. And then, you're in a lawsuit for being unprofessional, blah, blah, blah. That certainly happens, right? So, yeah, there's so many changes that are going to come. And then, everyone's just like, here's another scary point, actually. It says, our failure today to erect sufficient barriers around research and artificial general intelligence will be irreversible soon. In the next 12 to 24 months, we will leak key AGI breakthroughs into the CCP, and then it'll be the national security establishment's single greatest regret before the decade is out. So, yeah, there is this battle for intelligence and quantum intelligence out there at the moment. Quantum computing is making leaps and bounds, and a quantum computer can break through normal computing in not a lot of time compared to what it used to be, right? So, a quantum computer could, for example, when you, what's it called? When you have a 12-character password and you have a mixture of different letters and numbers, there is only a certain amount of time. There's amount of years that a computer could use to brute force. Let me see if I can find it so I can explain this. Password solving. Password solve time. There it is. I wonder if they've got it here. Here it is. Okay, so here's the time it takes for a hacker to brute force your password. Okay, so if you've got 12 characters in your password that has a mixture of numbers, upper and lower case letters, and symbols, it would take a brute forcer, some sort of software, 5 years to try and figure out your password and crack that and basically do a different range of combinations to get that. Okay, so but 5 million years seems like a lot. Maybe it's just 5 years. Oh no, here we go. 12 characters, at least one. Some people are saying 34,000 years. There's different images here, but it's a lot. It's a lot, right? But that's based on standard computing practices. A quantum computer would break that down into a matter of hours, minutes, days, right? So the amount of compute power that we're approaching is fucking insane. Way beyond a human's comprehension, way more capable than any human being is possible of. So imagine what that's going to look, man. It's just so scary to think about what that's going to look like in the hands of the wrong person over the next 10 years. Because you just know it's going to happen, right? You just know something's going to fucking happen. We are monkeys with a plan, and most of us don't even have the fucking plan. And all it takes is someone's ego and some disenfranchised fuck to get the people together to do something that's fucking insane, Hitler came through with people power. I wonder if there's a Hitler that can come through with computational power in the next century, maybe in the next decade. Who knows? Scary stuff, man. Scary stuff. So yeah, I mean, that's what I've been I've sort of been researching this stuff for the sales course about the future of things and how people can protect themselves best using, how can they not be augmented or replaced by AI? Everyone's going to be augmented. I shouldn't have said that. But don't be displaced by AI. The best way to do that is to get a sales job selling tech. It's not the best way, but it's one of the better ways if you want to maintain being a knowledge worker and staying at the forefront of the human experience to make sure that you are protected, because it can't do many people things. And I still think people will still want the human connection no matter what. I think we're becoming more sensitive and more aware of, the human condition. As the more we digitize, the more that we crave analog human experiences. So that's something to look forward to in the near future. So yeah, just wanted to share that with you guys. If you were to, if you want to read that article, it's fucking nerdy and it's a lot. I mean, how many? It was 50,000 words, 165 pages. If you want to look up this article yourself, it's called Situational Awareness, and it's by Leopold, Leopold, Aschenbrenner, Aschenbrenner. If you just look up Situational Awareness AI, it'll come up. And it's, a very in-depth review of where AI is going to be all the way to 2034, which is, that feels, I was like, no, it's not far away, but it's not as far away as we think. Right? It's going to be here in the blink of an eye. Anyway, folks, that's it for this week. A few ups, a few downs, strange times to live in. You know where to find me, at Jamil J. Raymond on all the socials, techsales.academy. Come check it the fuck out. That's it for this week. Love yous. See you next week. Ciao for now.